Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know we've been away for a little bit, but we're back with some amazing stuff for you. For all of you who are watching the video for the first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That's just the protocol, right? And by the way, if you're looking for where I'm speaking from, I'm right here. Hello, right here. Okay, so we've had all the fun. My name is Adi, and I bring to you AI tools, tech stuff that all of you can learn from, particularly if you're a beginner, if you're just getting into this field. So come watch my videos and you learn a lot and enjoy yourself while watching them. Now, today's video is going to talk about this, what you see up on the screen, sorry, here, right? So we're going to be talking about AI tools for students in 2025. In 2025, just go with the flow, right? So if you are a student or a researcher or somebody who is looking to use AI tools in their day-to-day life to make your studies easier, more interactive and fun, then keep watching this series, right? There'll be a few videos in this. This is one of many. In this particular video, we're going to explore 4 tools. As you see here, we're going to talk about ChatDOC, what it can do for you. We're going to talk about Claude 3.5, which is by Anthropic. We know that Claude 4 is out now, but we're going to talk about 3.5 nonetheless. Perplexity AI and Notion AI. So again, you don't have to use all of them. You got to try them out, see what works for you, use the ones that you like. Each of them have their own benefits, pros and cons. Figure it out, right? And through this video, I will tell you what those are as well and how you can use these better. So in the next 10, 12, 15 minutes or so, we are going to go through each of these 4 tools one by one. I'm going to show you a little bit of how you can use them. I might not show you each and every single thing because I want to leave room for you to explore. And later you can tell me in the comments which one you loved, which one you tried, and what new features you explored as well. Now, before we get into that, I want to tell you that all of these tools are not 100% free. They do have a free version, which has some limited usage on a daily basis. But I think that should be good enough for you. You don't need to go beyond the free version to get the most out of it. All right, so let's dive straight into it then. All right, so the first tool, ChatDoc, right? I'm pretty sure you've heard of ChatGPT. Chat comes from there, GPT replaced with doc. Why? Because ChatDoc is basically a tool for you to chat with documents, right? Now, once you come to the website, it'll take you to a landing page. Once you log into the landing page, then you'll see what you see here. The main interface is all about uploading documents, dragging and dropping different folders as a collection of documents. And it also tells me I have a gift, which I don't want because I want to stick to the free version, right? Unless they want to give me the gift for free. But uh, what we're going to try to do using this doc is we're going to try and upload a PDF file. In the free version, you can only upload PDFs. You can't upload documents and other formats in docx or doc files. And once you upload a PDF, you can then interact and chat with the PDF. There's also a few samples for you to play around with in case you're new, you're coming to the platform for the first time. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to select a file that I had downloaded earlier. It could be an academic paper, a research paper, a book, whatever you want. Remember, in the free version though, there's a limit of 300 pages, 30 MB per file. So compress your PDF a bit in case it's quite large. Now, this PDF that I've uploaded is around food security and food production systems. Quite interesting, right? Very complex topic on climate change and agriculture and how they go hand in hand. Now, obviously, as you can see, it's quite a long book, right? It has a lot of stuff in it. I haven't read it myself. But what we want to do using this AI tool is obviously interact with it. Now, one of the first things you see the moment you upload this particular PDF is on the right-hand side here, just above me, an abstract has been generated about the whole document, right? What is the document about? It says it primarily examines the interplay between climate change and food security, yada yada yada, right? So I mean that's a good start. And what it also gives you apart from that is some recommended questions that you can probably ask of that particular document, right? Obviously it came up with, okay, these are the main, I mean, few things that you can ask and it'll sort of give you the answers. The other interesting thing also is that if you actually hover over the PDF, you will see that different parts of the PDF have been highlighted and there's this small icon next to it. I'll show you what this does in a bit as well. All right. But before that, let's try to ask a few questions to this PDF, right? It's currently using the GPT-4o mini model. You can also choose other models or you can connect your own model to this as well if you have an API, right? So let's say that I want this whole PDF document to be summarized in 5 bullet points. Obviously, something that one shouldn't do, but let's go ahead and try, right? So I'm going to say summarize this document in 5 bullet points. Okay, so it's obviously going to scan through the entire document. That's what it did. And it's given you those 5 bullet points here, right? So it's extracted what the entire document is and summarized it for you. And it says the document explores the detrimental effects of climate change on food security and production systems. The impact of climate change on food security is analyzed, so on and so forth, right? And what it does very well is that when you click on, where this kind of summary came from, it's going to sort of take you and tell you that, okay, it sort of generated it from these places, right? I mean, that's a good thing for you to know that where are the main parts generated this, summary from. Now, that's one thing, all right? Now, the other question is, let's say you are talking about a particular section, let's say section 7.3, right? And I want to know from this particular section, what are some of the main findings, right? Because maybe that is important for my examination, or I'm going to write a research paper on that, my assignment is on that. So I can say, what are the main findings of section 7.3? So the best part about it is that it knows where section 7.3 is. Obviously, this document is also quite structured, so it's able to understand and extract that. And it tells you that section 7.3 firstly discusses assessing impacts, vulnerabilities, and risks related to food security, which is correct, as you can see from the title here and the content as well. And then you have what we asked for, right? The main findings. It gives all the main findings to you here and gives you a nice summary of those findings, which you can then go through and then you can understand it better, right? The main idea is to sort of get understanding or simplified understanding of things that you want to in a condensed format, and this does it very well. Maybe one of the other questions I can ask is something more particular, right? I probably don't know where it is, but I want to know because it's an interesting question that one may ask. So I can say something like, explain how climate change impacts crop yield, right? So again, it knows the PDF, so it has that knowledge in it already, condenses that knowledge into something that you can read. So it says that climate change is affected by a few things: temperature increases, precipitation, variability. And if you notice, beside all of these pieces of text, there is a small citation in the bracket, right? Now, the thing is, when you click on it, it takes you to where it actually extracted that from. So that's something that's awesome for you to know, right? Because obviously, when you're going to try and extract something, you need to know where it's coming from, because you don't want to go back and search for it and look for it throughout the entire document. So that's what it sort of does very efficiently for you, and you're able to pinpoint where it's coming from and so on. Now, you can go ahead and ask any sort of questions you want. Obviously, if it doesn't know, it'll tell you it can't extract it. It has to be related to the document as much as possible, right? So the other thing I want to show you is that I mentioned to you before, you can actually highlight a particular paragraph or a section, and you can click on it, and then you can ask a question pertaining to that section. So you can say, summarize this section, and it sort of gives you a summary of in simplified terms of what you asked, right? And that's what you sort of see here. So it's able to give you more minute information. You're probably reading through a document, you want a simplified understanding of a particular area, and it's able to do that efficiently, right? So ChatDOC primarily is used for this purpose. So if you want to interact with the PDF, you want to talk to it, and you want to get information, you want to get simplified things, then use this tool. Pretty amazing, pretty useful for you. Again, as I said, in the free version, there are limitations, but if you ask the right questions and you get the right information, I think on a daily basis, you should be able to use it quite efficiently. All right, so that's the first tool. Go ahead and explore what other things you can do, and let me know what is the best feature you liked about this particular tool. All right, let's head to the next one. All right, so the next tool is Claude by Anthropic. I'm pretty sure you must have heard of Claude. It's one of the best models out there, and it's at the top with the likes of OpenAI and others. So how do I use Claude? Now, Claude is very good at simplifying very complex things. So if you are learning something, and if you're a student studying subjects like economics, biology, AI, legal and ethics, and you want certain things to be simplified for you, Claude is sort of the go-to for me as well. So let me take a paragraph that I had just recently come across, and I failed to understand when I first read it. So I want to kind of simplify it down in a way that I can understand much more easily. So I can put the paragraph here, and as you can see, it's a bit about AI ethics and certain implementation around it, implementation notes around it. I can say explain this to a 10-year-old, right? And obviously it's going to take a little bit of time to think, but the moment it does that, it gives you a very good explanation of what this whole AI ethics is talking about in this paragraph here, right? So it says, imagine if robots started helping doctors, yada, yada, yada. That would be pretty cool, but then, would that raise ethical concerns, so on and so forth. So it gives you a very relatable, real world analogy and example that you can understand. Now, the other thing I do when I'm learning is I create flashcards, right? If you remember, maybe a few years back, you would have taken a pen, paper, and you would have created flashcards to learn, maybe during your exams or otherwise. Now, AI is so smart that it can actually create these flashcards for you. So I can say that I want to create, let's say, 5 flashcards from the above paragraph, from the paragraph that I uh, gave you earlier. Just ignore my spelling, and AI will take care of it for you. All right. So what it's doing, so it's creating what it calls an artifact, right? It's drafting and it's making it interactive. And what you see on the right here, just maybe I'm blocking a little bit, but right above me, you can see a bunch of code that's being generated. Now, all of this code is going to render into the flashcard as soon as it generates, right? So it takes a wee bit of time, about 30 seconds, 40 seconds or so. You can also extract this code out and use it offline for yourself. But then if you're using it on an AI tool, it'll do it for you and you can actually see it in the final form, right? So give it a moment to load. Now, while it's doing that, understand that you can use this for your examinations if you're prepping for some questions and you want to know the top 10 questions that are critical. So all of these things are very well learned when you have flashcards. It's a good memory retainer and something that you can learn very well. Now, if you see it generated 5 flashcards for you because I said I wanted 5, you can tell it to do a better job later on, but let's focus on what it generated. So it said that it generated flashcards related to these 5 topics, which is critical AI sectors, regulatory gap, cross-disciplinary governance, and international standards and dual requirements. Now, the first flashcard, if you see, it says critical AI sectors, in which 3 critical sectors are AI systems increasingly becoming embedded, creating high stakes for explainability. Now, obviously, if you have learned, you should know the answer, but if you click on it, you get the answer behind, and it's a good way to sort of check whether you remember correctly, and if you don't, what the answer is. So you can go to the next few ones, and then you can get all the flashcards with the question and answers right there, right? So that's the second thing that I did with Claude, right? So you see, it's quite amazing, right? What else can you do? Now imagine you're going to take a test. You can say, okay, give me 5 multiple choice questions for a quiz from the above topic. So, again, when it comes to examinations or when it comes to studies, this is something that you would often try and test yourself using. So you can get it in this interactive format, or you can get it in the normal format. You can, tell Claude, I don't want it to be interactive. I don't want it in that sort of, code-based format. So it'll generate it for you just as text, and you can then test your answers as well. So now you can see that it's again generating this interactive quiz for you. It takes about a minute or so. It's quite fast. And once it does, you can actually interact with it and you can start sort of playing around with the quiz, right? Now, I want you to try different things with Claude. Tell me in the comments what you try out, what kind of questions you put across, and play around with it. I mean, these AI tools are meant for you to test it, play around with it, make sure that you can extract as much as it from possible that benefits you at the end of the day, right? So now you can see that it's generating all these questions here with the correct and incorrect answers, and at the end of it, it should give you this sort of interactive way to play with it, right? Now, I'm pretty sure that all of you use ChatGPT maybe on a more daily basis because it's just more popular. But I would definitely encourage you to come and try some of these tools as well. Right, so here we go. So it's generated an amazing, MCQ quiz. It would take a lot of time for you to even code something like this. Now, I'm not going to read the question and answer, but I'm just going to try and click on something and it'll tell you whether, what do you know? I'm a genius. Just kidding, but it's going to tell you whether it's correct or not, right? And if you click on an incorrect answer, it'll tell you that it's incorrect. And then you can go to the next question and next question. Well, I didn't get it correct the third time. But yeah, I mean, this is something you can do, and it tells you that, okay, I got 2 out of 5. You can take the quiz again, and well, you'll be a genius by the end of it. So that's the second tool. I hope you liked that crisp and short explanation and what you can do with it. So try it out for yourself. Let's move on to the third one, right? So the third tool is called Perplexity, right? Now, Perplexity is also another AI tool that is becoming quite popular. And the reason I like it is because if you are doing your research, if you are trying to find something and you want to get it from validated sources, then Perplexity is probably the best tool to do that for you. It has a search mode and it has a research mode. Obviously, research mode takes a bit more time because it's going in depth, searching the web, scouting multiple websites before it gives you something more concrete. Search does the same thing, but does it a bit faster and doesn't do as deep a research as the other option would. Now with search, you can use it as much as you want. If you want to try pro search, there are limited tries in the free version. Research also has limited tries in the free version, but I don't anticipate you using that, more than a couple of times a day anyway, right? Now, let's try and ask something of Perplexity, see what it can give us in terms of research or just search, and let's see why it's a bit different from the other ones we've seen so far, right? So I'm going to ask a question that says, what are the most recent studies on how sleep affects memory retention in students, right? So if you're a student watching this, then you're going to get the answer now. Make sure you get your 8 to 9 hours of sleep in if you want to have a good memory, right? Now, let's run this. And if you see, this sort of looks different in comparison to some of the other ones we've been seeing, right? You can see that it's done a very quick job. It's looked through a few sources, as you can see here, and you can get details about the sources here, which is what is important from your research perspective. It tells you, okay, these are the 8 different articles and some more results on where it extracted this information from. And once it extracted the information, it gave it to you in this particular format, right? So what is a summary? Sleep consolidates past memories, so make sure you sleep. Uh, Longer and earlier sleep enhances cognitive functions. Again, make sure you sleep. That's important, right? And if you go to task, it'll actually tell you what it did or what methodology it followed, right? So it says that it searched the web, it did some reading on a few different documents and few different sources, and then it gave you the result. Now, if you do the same thing with research, it takes much longer because it's doing a lot more than just uh, searching through a few of those sources, right? So just to give you an example, if you see when I put the same question on research and I start doing it, it tells you that in order to give you a more comprehensive answer, I need to do a lot more. I need to look at all the recent studies, and it'll conduct more targeted web searches, right? So it's telling you what it's doing task by task, and you can get a notification if you don't want to wait. That's something cool as well, right? But you can see that it's searching different sources. It's looking at recent studies. It's looking at things in relation to what we have asked. And then at the end of the day, it'll go and read all of those, and then it'll consolidate and give you all the results. So if you're doing extensive research, if you want cited notes and articles, uh, validated sources, and this is something that you should be using. So Perplexity is quite good. I'm going to create another video that completely talks about what you can do in Perplexity, so don't forget to watch that. But there's a lot of things that you can do using this particular AI tool. It's awesome, right? So you can already see that in the research mode, the number of steps that it's taking is more extensive. It's going to do a lot more. Obviously, the name says research, so it's going to do the research, right? Or at least give you the feeling of doing the research before it gives you the right answer or the correct notes that you need. And at the end of the day, it'll similar to how it gave sources and tasks and citations for normal search. Research will also consolidate everything and give that to you at the end, right? So that's how research works. Maybe we will come back to this once it finishes towards the end of the video, so we don't have to sort of wait on this till it finishes. Okay. Now, last AI tool for this particular video is called Notion AI. Again, Notion AI is an ecosystem of a lot of different things, but we're just going to focus on a couple of things because this video is focused around you as a student, as a learner, right? And how you can use it to make your life easier. Now, in Notion AI, this very much looks like a notebook, right? So if you have used something like Microsoft OneNote or Google Keep or some other simple tools to take notes, it's kind of looks something like that. But trust me, it can do a lot more than just that. Now you can type, normally like you would on any whiteboard or notepad, or you can use Notion's AI features by pressing the space bar, and you get a bunch of stuff here that you can do. right? So it says ask AI anything, and it'll try to get that for you, right? The other thing you can also do is you can actually type ask, and you can create an AI block, and in that AI block you can do certain things as well, right? So let's try to see what we want. Now, I have an AI exam coming up, right? I'm in grade 12, and one of my subjects is AI ethics. Let's just pick that because we've used that before. Now, what I want to do is I want to create a 5-day learning plan for me to study AI ethics. So I'm going to say create a 5-day study plan or learning plan for AI ethics class 12, right, or grade 12. So it's thinking, and then it gives you a 5-day study plan. Says day one, this is what you got to do. You have some checklist items. Day two, this is what you got to do. You have some checklist items, and you can check it off, right, once you've completed it. So you can keep all of this, and once you're done, you can say, okay, I'm done with this. So it's very structured in comparison to some of the other ones, right? So this is like a proper board where you can have your tasks, you can have your notes, you can have everything together consolidated uh, here. So that's the first thing. You can use it to generate these sort of plans for you, and you can use them, right, very efficiently. Now, what you can also do is you can also sort of paste your notes here. Let me just come back here. So imagine that we had that paragraph again. Let me try to get that we had for AI ethics earlier. And you can again tell Notion AI to, let's say, give you 5 bullet points from this, right? So it's thinking, and then it gives you the 5 bullet points on the key concerns of AI ethics. Again, you can either choose to keep it, you can choose to discard it, or make it better. So again, what you're using this is a place to consolidate things for your learning, or if you want to come back and look at certain things, you can always do that, right? What I can also say is similar to how I did in Perplexity, in Claude earlier, is to generate, let's say, flashcards. So I can say generate flashcards. I can just say 2 flashcards for my learning, right? So again, it's generating 2 flashcards. As you can see here, unlike Claude, where it went through the code the way of generating code and then rendering that, this is in a more text-based form, right? Which is also fine with me because all I'm concerned about is some of the important stuff that I need to learn. So this is how you can, keep using Notion AI, and you can keep generating stuff that you want from your notes, from what you learned in class, from the web, from articles, and so on and so forth, right? So coming back to, so that was about Notion AI. Again, just go ahead and explore and let me know what you like about it, how you used it, whether it's been useful for you or not. And yeah, I mean, that's how you can make most use of it. And as I said, with Perplexity, let's just very quickly go back to that. You see that now it's managed to give you a more in-depth research based notes, and you can see that it's much more structured, and you can see that it has many more sources as compared to what it did when you just use a normal search. Here it had 51 sources as compared to 8 there, and each source is from a validated resource pool. It's done its checking, and then it's sort of given you the results. It tells you all the tasks here that you can see as well. Much more extensive as compared to what it did in normal search, right? And again, I mean, each of these pieces of text that's here is all cited. You can always click on the citation, it'll take you to that link, and you can sort of look at it as well. All right. So I guess that's that. And just to very quickly summarize what we saw in the video, we focused on 4 AI tools that you can use if you're learning or if you're studying. ChatDOC to chat with PDFs, Claude to sort of simplify complex things, look at flashcards, make quizzes, we have some interactive fun. Perplexity for citation-based research, particularly. That's what I love to use it for. And Notion AI at the end, if you want things in a more structured manner, generate your plans for the day, for the week. And also you can use it to generate quizzes and flashcards and many other things. All right. So I guess that summarizes this particular video. Again, as I said, this is just part one of many in this particular series. So if you've liked whatever I've shared so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give a shout out, share this with your friends and family. Also, like the video. That's most important for my channel to grow as well. And it's all with your help that I can keep coming up with more such content. So till then, thank you very much for watching the video. I will leave a short description of this in the comments as well, so you can kind of go back to it when you need to. Until then, bye bye, and don't forget to watch the next one.